Authority is inescapable. This means that people can use authority rightly or wrongly, but we cannot avoid altogether having people in positions of authority. In the same way, people can submit to authority rightly or wrongly, or to the right or wrong authority, but they will always be submitting to some kind of authority. Authority is something that God built into the world, and by right of creation, He is the ultimate authority in it. But since humanity is sinful, we have many ways of either misusing authority or attempting to deny it altogether. Before we see how Lewis handles the theme of authority in the Narnia series, let me tell a brief childhood story that illustrates fallen humanity's basic response to authority. One Saturday morning when I was about 10 years old, I was for some reason having a great day, just feeling good about myself, the human race, and the world in general. As I was lying on the living room floor reading the comics, and filled with nothing but the milk of human kindness, I soon found myself thinking, when I'm done with the comics, I'm going to surprise my mom by cleaning up the basement. But just when I was pondering this and feeling really good about myself, my mother walked in and said, "Doug, I'd like you to go downstairs and clean the basement." And just like that, she had wrecked everything. The milk of human kindness miraculously drained away, and in its place was a little black rain cloud of rebellious mutterings. Now think about this for a moment. Why did her command wreck my day? I was going to clean the basement anyway, so she was not interrupting any special plans I had made. What was the big deal? Just this. If I had done it by myself, I would not have been under any authority, and I would have gotten all sorts of brownie points for doing it. But after she had told me to do it, I would merely be obedient by doing it. And it was no fun being obedient. I wanted to be a volunteer. I was kicking against the very fact of being under authority. Now, in discussing the theme of authority in the Narnia books, I want to divide the topic into two basic sections. Characters who have twisted attitudes towards authority, and those who have righteous attitudes toward it. False authority. The Narnian Chronicles contain many different characters who try to abuse authority in many different ways. But in the end, they all have one common thread. The root of all their problems is selfishness and grasping, the opposite of the biblical commands for leaders to be sacrificial and giving. Miraz, Prince Caspian. In Prince Caspian, Miraz is a usurper. Before the narrative begins, we find out that he had killed Prince Caspian's father, his own brother, in order to take power. Caspian knows nothing of this, having been very young when his father was killed. So long as Miraz doesn't have a son of his own, he is happy to raise Caspian and allow him to be the next king after him. But when his wife, Queen Prunaprismia, a wonderfully named woman, gives birth to a baby boy, Miraz decides to kill Caspian, so his own son can succeed him. With the help of Dr. Cornelius, Caspian escapes, and finally learns that Miraz is not the lawful king. Now Lewis makes an interesting historical reference here. When he, Miraz, first began to rule, he did not even pretend to be king. He called himself Lord Protector. Page 59. If you remember your history, you might recall that in 17th century England there was a war between Parliament, led by Oliver Cromwell, and King Charles I. The king lost the war and was beheaded. Cromwell then took over and called himself Lord Protector instead of king. Now Miraz begins by calling himself Lord Protector, but later shows his true colours when he gets his followers to declare him king, essentially admitting that he has been the acting king all along, and that he never had any intention of protecting Caspian's rightful claim to the throne. Not only does his selfishness and grasping drive him to murder, he also spins his words deceitfully to hide it. His authority is entirely false. He is nothing but a murderer and a usurper.